All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, Ravens flock, here we are, week 9 of the NFL season. Baltimore's got another matchup. They have a bye week after this matchup, so we will not be seeing from the Ravens next week. They will have plenty of time to rest the guys that are injured, get a lot of their players back, assess where they are in the season. If they got to make any changes, they'll make any changes. And then once they come back, they'll take on the Panthers on the 20th of November. Speaking of that, it's been very interesting when you actually look at Baltimore's schedule of the last couple weeks here, because last week they didn't play on Sunday. They did not play on Sunday. They played on Thursday Night Football against the Bucs. This week they will not be playing on Sunday. They're going to play on Monday Night Football. Next week they're on a bye week, so they're not going to play at all. So we have 3 straight Sundays where Baltimore is not playing a football game. That is crazy to see, but hey, I'm all for it. So yeah, Baltimore this week, we have another primetime game. In fact, it is our final primetime game of the season. We played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football, got the victory, and advanced to 5-3. Now, this week, we're going to be on Monday Night Football against another NFC South opponent, this time the New Orleans Saints. And we will be on the road, so we're going to play them at the Dome. The Baltimore Ravens are taking on the New Orleans Saints in what should be an interesting game on Monday Night Football. Now, a couple updates here for the injuries. Both Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards are listed as doubtful. They're most likely not going to play, which is a smart move by the Ravens. Mark Andrews was taken out of the game on Thursday Night Football due to a shoulder injury, and of course Gus Edwards suffered a hamstring injury on one of his runs during the game against the Bucs on Thursday Night Football. So both of them, they're not going to play. Now, of course, they had 10, 11 days to rest, but the smart move here, especially since Rashad Bateman is now out for the season, we saw how that went. The smart move here for Baltimore is to give those guys extra rest so they can come back 100%, or at least as close to 100% as possible. They don't play this week. They get all the time in the bye week to rest and get healthy, and they'll be able to come back and play against the Panthers on the 20th. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, losing those two is going to hurt because that's your best tight end and one of your key running backs here. You're losing them, and you're not going to have them on prime time here, so that hurts. You know, you take that plus Rashad Bateman being gone, and Baltimore is losing vital weapons on their offense, and it's going to make it even tougher to win this matchup here against the New Orleans Saints. But past that, everyone else that's on the list for the most part is either most likely going to play or is questionable. A couple people that are questionable. Malik Harrison, he's questionable. He was dealing with a foot injury. Patrick McCarry is dealing with a back issue. He's also questionable. Marcus Peters, the same, situation with him. They're basically managing him for the most part, giving him the rest days when they need to, which is perfectly fine. He's listed as questionable. And the last one here, which was actually the most surprising, Demarcus Robinson. Apparently, he suffered a groin injury at some point in practice week, and he's questionable to play. Now, I hope it's nothing severe because you can't really afford to lose another receiver or another key player on your offense. Rashad Bateman, gone. Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards not going to play in this game. If DeMarcus Robinson's gone too, you're losing so many guys there. Now, of course, because of this, there's a good chance Deshaun Jackson's probably going to make his debut on Monday Night Football. But if you do lose someone in DeMarcus Robinson, that means either you're going to get more usage out of James Prochet and Tylan Wallace, or they may add Andy Isabella to that. So we'll see what the Ravens want to do with that. You have a bye week here. If they want to choose to just not try to force it, DeMarcus Robinson could just sit this out, get the extra rest he needs during the bye week, and he'll come back. Past that, the one that's interesting here is both Tyus Bowser and David Ojabo. They both practice. They were both fully participants in practice this week, so there's a great chance both of them will get to play. I mostly expect to see Bowser out there. I'm not 100% sure on Ojabo because this would be the first week of full practice he would have with the team, and maybe they want to give him a little bit more time before throwing him out there, but we'll see what happens. Either both of them are playing or it's most likely just one. Either way, you're going to get some help defensively there. So that's all good. Past that, everyone else that's on the list is pretty much good to go. As for the Saints, they actually lost Michael Thomas. This news kind of came back to back. We get one report of Rashad Bateman being out for the season, and then another report comes out saying this dude here is straight up out. So it's crazy. It's really crazy. Michael Thomas The guy that's been gone the last 2 years is not going to be out for the rest of the season. That is a huge blow. That's a huge blow. And, that's a key weapon for them. That's a key piece on their offense. But I don't know. I don't know. They'll most likely be able to manage because, it's not like Michael Thomas has been going off in every single game. But that is a hefty loss for them. So, yeah, they're losing Michael Thomas for the rest of the season. And Marshon Lattimore is not going to play in this game. He has been listed out. So he's not playing on Monday Night Football. That's arguably your best defensive player. Arguably the best defensive player for the Saints is not going to play on Monday Night Football. So both teams are dealing with injuries, losing key players. I have no clue how this is going to go, but it should be an interesting bout. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the injury talk. Now let's actually talk about the game itself. So we're going to be on the road here. We're going to be looking to try and advance to 6-3 and head into the bye week on a 3-game winning streak. Hopefully they can pull it off. We will see. But we're in a interesting matchup here against the Saints. I look at the Saints and I feel like they're a better team execution-wise as opposed to a better team on paper. They play better than how their roster is, how their roster is kind of just structured. It doesn't seem like it's a really talented roster, at least especially with the injuries that they're dealing with, but this team is actually able to execute a lot better than is expected, They have a really great system there in terms of running the football, a really great system that they love utilizing, and this dude Taysom Hill is a clear weapon for them. They utilize him in the passing game. They utilize him in the receiving game. They utilize him in the running game. Like, the dude is doing it all for them, and they have this system that just works for them. And, Andy Dalton's going to be the quarterback. As long as he's not out there making mistakes, he's going to be fine. Not to mention, Andy Dalton has several years of experience playing against the Ravens, and that is a guy that has always given our defense an issue. So this should be an interesting matchup. All in all, the Saints offense isn't as talented as you would want it to be, but they have a system that works so well and is so effective for them that they're actually able to put up a lot of points. And they've surprised people in a couple of wins they've had. Like, you were not expecting that. They have a really solid system. So I think Baltimore is in for a bit of a surprise in terms of what they're going to have to deal with there. But obviously, they know the main thing they're going to have to focus on is stopping the run, because Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara are going to be a force in that running game. And if they cannot stop the run, they are going to be in huge trouble. Now, while we can say that for the offense of the Saints, the defense for the Saints it hasn't been great. It's actually been poor at times. I think that's easily the weakest part of the team right now. So that is a part where Baltimore is probably going to look to exploit, especially when it comes to running the football. The New Orleans Saints defense is not good at stopping the run. They struggle stopping the pass, but they're really not good at stopping the run. And considering the fact that Baltimore is already dealing injuries with their playmakers and their weapons on offense, they're going to be looking to run the ball a lot. And I think that's going to be the main key to winning this game. So, yeah, the Saints defense isn't strong, and they really do poorly in stopping the run. That's going to be a key aspect that Baltimore's going to have to focus on, and it should be an interesting part there for them. Meanwhile, for the Ravens offense, they've lost a bunch of weapons there. Obviously, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Gus Edwards not playing. Maybe DeMarcus Robinson won't play as well, so you're losing a lot of key pieces on your offense, but you still got Lamar Jackson as your quarterback. You're still going to have out there Kenyon Drake, and Justice Hill's going to be out there, so you're going to have some, not to mention Devin Duvernay's still out there, so you do have effective pieces, and Isaiah Likely as well. I just have to keep naming the guys. You got effective pieces there to help you with both the run and the pass game, and Lamar is just going to have to deal. They're probably going to lean a lot on the run game because that is the weakness of the Saints defense, so expect the Ravens to run the rock a lot on Monday night, similar to what they did in the second half against the Bucs, because both the Bucs and the Saints defense are poor at stopping the run, so Baltimore's probably going to be looking to do that. Though they may try to test out the secondary the same way they did in the first half on Thursday Night Football. I don't know if they're going to do that. The way they did that against the Bucs, they tried to test out the secondary, and it wasn't nearly as effective as they wanted it to be, and they weren't finishing drives. So they chose to run the football, and they started finishing drives and putting points on the board. They may try to do the same thing here, but I don't know. We'll see, depending on what they want to try. But obviously, the key to win this game is running the football. Run the football down their throat. They can't stop it. You're going to have some playmakers in the pass game. I expect Lamar to probably look towards leaning on both James Prochet and Isaiah Likely, especially if Demarcus Robinson isn't out there, because that would definitely be his third piece. And if the let me think about it. Would they want to? Because I'm still trying to figure out whether or not Deshaun Jackson's playing. I'm not fully sure if he's going to be out there. But if Deshaun Jackson is playing, Lamar's going to look to get him the ball. If Deshaun Jackson's not playing, I expect to see a lot of Isaiah Likely and James Prochet. But it depends. I don't know if Deshaun Jackson's going to play or not. So that kind of puts an interest. That kind of makes it a bit difficult to assess how they're going to attack the secondary of the Saints, because if you have Deshaun Jackson there, they're definitely going to look to get him the ball down the field. But if they choose not to activate him this week and he's not out there, then expect to see a huge, heavy dose of Devin Duvernay and Isaiah Likely. And especially, and it can even get even higher with that if Deshaun Jackson's not out there and Demarcus Robinson is out for this game. So I have no clue. It's really hard to assess with all these guys missing and all these pieces suffering through injuries. It's not good. It's not good. We're banged up heading into this game, and we're just gonna have to see what comes out there and what they're gonna work with offensively. There's not a lot to say. I want to assess the Ravens offense, but they're missing so many pieces, and they may be missing more, or they may add another one. I don't know what this offense is going to look like. I'm really trying to assess this, but Gus Edwards is gone, so it's going to be Kenyon Drake and Justice Hill. You look at the receiving core, Rashad Bateman's gone. Deshaun Jackson may or may not play. I don't know. Demarcus Robinson might be gone. And, of course, for your tight end room, your best tight end in the Mark Andrews is not playing. How do I assess who's going to be out there? I'm racking my brain, but I really don't know. But we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway, I think the passing game is probably going to take a step back here. And the running game is going to be the main emphasis. It has to be the main emphasis, at least at this point, because the running game has been highly effective, and you're going up against a team that can't stop the run. So it's going to be a lot of heavy doses of runs in this game. So we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, defensively for Baltimore, I expect them to be able to stop the run, especially with Roquan Smith making his Ravens debut. He's most likely going to play. So with Roquan out there, they're definitely going to be looking to stop the run, which will help them be a little bit more effective. And they're going to be much more improved in pass coverage. So I think Baltimore's defense, while they do have to, be prepared for this system that works so effectively in scoring for the Saints, they cannot overlook that. While they do have to be prepared for that, I think they're going to be relatively fine, and they should be able to handle whatever Andy Dalton throws at them in the passing game and whatever Kamara and Hill throw at them in the running game. So I think Baltimore defensively should be sound in this game. As long as everybody's doing their job, they're going to be fine. So, yeah, if I was to give a keys to the game, offensively, run the football, protect the football, finish drives, and put points on the board. Defensively, look to force turnovers, stop the run, don't give up any big plays over the top, and try to force a couple turnovers out of Andy Dalton. If you do that, Baltimore should be able to win this game, and they'll be able to advance to 6-3 and head into the bye week at a pretty damn good position. I predicted them to be 6-3 heading into the bye week, so winning this game will put them right where I had the Ravens at this stage of the season. So I would not be surprised if they're 6-3. It would be exactly where I predicted them, and at this point, we can look towards the rest of the season and we'll look towards the rest of the season, assess how the team is right now, and see what they can do moving forward, which should be very interesting to discuss after Monday night. But yeah, the keys of the game offensively: run the football, protect the football, finish drives, don't turn it over, put points on the board. Defensively, stop the run, don't give up any big plays over the top, look to force turnovers from Andy Dalton. So, yeah, if the Ravens do that, they should be relatively fine. Now, in terms of who's going to win this game, I still think the Ravens are going to win this game, despite the fact that they are heavily banged up. I still think they're going to win. Obviously, the Saints are also dealing with injuries themselves, so these are two teams dealing with injuries. It is what it is at the end of the day. You just have to deal with what you have to deal with. But I still think the Ravens, they're the better team. I expect them to be able to get this done. Hopefully they can use this as another week to finish games, because that's still somewhat of a concern. They're not finishing games the way we would want them to. But, hey, they're on a 2-game winning streak. First winning streak of the season for them. So maybe they've learned to finish games. I don't know. Either way, I still think this is going to be a close game, be it a high-scoring game, because the Saints, what they do systematically in terms of running the football has allowed them to generate a lot of points. So it could be a high-scoring game or it could be a low-scoring game. But either way, no matter what it is, I still think it's going to be a close game. I still think Baltimore's going to win it, but they're going to win it in a close one. I'm going to give them a 5-point victory. Let's just say they win the game. Let me not even give them a 5-point victory. I'm going to say 27-23. They win the game 27-23. That's just how I think. They're going to have like a 4-point victory. You could say 27-22, but I'm going to say 27-23. They win the game by 4, advance to 6-3, and then they head into the bye week. They'll be first place in the AFC North, 2-0 in the division, 6-3, and in a really good position to just take control and own this division, especially considering the fact that their schedule moving forward is a hell of a lot more simpler than the schedule they've had for the first 9 games of this season. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Cannot wait till Monday night. And with that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.